Have you ever been on a project that just felt like complete chaos? You know the one I'm talking about. Deadlines are flying by, nobody's quite sure what the goal is, and the whole team feels like they're running in 5 different directions at once. Yeah, it's a frustrating feeling we've probably all had.
But what if I told you there's a proven way to bring order to that chaos? A framework that can take a wild idea and guide it step by step until it becomes a reality. Well, that's exactly what project management is. And in this explainer, we are going to demystify it together.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start way up high with the big picture of why projects even matter. Then we'll zoom in a bit and look at the anatomy of a project itself. After that, we'll get into the really practical stuff, the 5-step playbook that works for pretty much any project. We'll also touch on the world that projects live in, and we'll wrap up by focusing on the most critical role of all, the manager.
Okay, so first things first, let's pull way back. When a company has these huge, ambitious goals, how do they actually make them happen? How do they turn strategy into reality? It all comes down to this one simple definition from the Project Management Institute, and really it hinges on 2 super important words, temporary and unique. A project isn't your day-to-day ongoing work. No, it's a special, focused effort. It has a clear beginning and a clear end, and its whole purpose is to create something that didn't exist before, whether that's a new app, a bridge, or even a marketing campaign.
And here's how that one little project connects to the bigger mission. A project is kind of like the fundamental building block. You group a bunch of related projects together and bam, you've got a program. Then you bundle up all your programs and projects that are working towards a major business goal, and that's your portfolio. It's this hierarchy that lets a company's big picture strategy actually get done on the ground.
Okay, so projects are the engines that drive strategy. We get that. But what are they actually made of? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the blueprint.
You know, not all projects are built the same way. There are really 2 main flavors, predictive and adaptive. Think of predictive or waterfall like building a house. You need the complete, detailed blueprint before you even think about laying the first brick, right? Scope, time, cost, it's all figured out up front. On the other hand, you have adaptive or agile. This is more like writing a novel. You've got a general plot, but you develop the story chapter by chapter, or in this case, iteration by iteration. With Agile, change isn't something to avoid. It's actually expected and welcomed.
But no matter which approach you take, projects get broken down into phases. And at the end of every single phase, you hit this super critical checkpoint called a phase gate. This is a big deal. It's a formal review where the key stakeholders get together and make a tough call. Do we keep going as planned? Do we need to change something? Or do we pull the plug entirely? Its nickname, the kill point, tells you everything you need to know about how important this is for making sure a struggling project doesn't just suck up time and money forever.
Now we're getting to the core of it all, the playbook. Seriously, whether you're building a skyscraper or just planning a big party, the same fundamental process applies. So let's walk through the 5 essential steps that guide basically any project, from a simple idea to a finished product.
And here it is. This is the backbone of all project management. It kicks off with initiating, which is where the idea gets the official green light. Then you move into planning. That's your detailed roadmap. Executing is when the team actually does the work. And all the while, you're monitoring and controlling to make sure everything stays on track. And finally, closing, where you wrap it all up. They definitely overlap in the real world, but this is the essential flow. Let's just quickly touch on each one.
First up, initiating. This is all about getting the official authorization, the green light, to actually start the project.
Next is planning. This is where you create that super detailed roadmap, figuring out everything from scope and schedule to budget and risks.
Then we have executing. This one's pretty straightforward. It's when the team gets to work and starts turning that plan into a reality.
While that's happening, you're also monitoring and controlling. This is the process of constantly checking your progress against the plan and making little corrections to stay on course.
And finally, closing. This is the official wrap-up. You get the final sign-offs, hand over the deliverables, and this is key. Capture all the lessons you learned for next time.
But here's the thing. You could have the most perfect plan in the world, but no project exists in a bubble. It's constantly being pushed and pulled by forces both inside and outside the company.
So first, you've got something called Enterprise Environmental Factors, or EEFs. The easiest way to think about these is like the weather. You can't control the weather, but you absolutely have to plan for it. Internally, an EEF could be your company's culture or the specific software you're forced to use. Externally, it's things like new government regulations or what's happening in the marketplace.
Now, on the flip side, you have organizational process assets, or OPAs. If EEFs are the things you can't control, OPAs are your secret weapons, the internal tools the company gives you to succeed. This could be anything from project templates and pre-approved supplier lists to, and this one is so important, the lessons learned database from every single project that came before yours. A smart project manager knows these OPAs are pure gold.
So we've covered the why, the what, and the how. But now we have to talk about the who. Because right at the center of this whole thing, pulling all the levers and making it all happen, is the project manager.
And this job is so much more than just ticking boxes on a to-do list. A really effective project manager has to influence people in all directions. They have to lead their project team, of course, but they also have to navigate the politics of their own organization, manage all the stakeholders, from suppliers to customers, and even keep an eye on what's happening in their entire industry. It is a massive, massive balancing act.
And that brings us to what might be the most important distinction of all. A great project manager isn't just a manager, they're a leader. See, management is about systems, structure, and control. It's about doing things right and being efficient. Leadership, on the other hand, is about people, relationships, and trust. It's about asking what and why, and making sure you're doing the right things. You need both, for sure, but it is leadership that really makes or breaks a project.
So, I'm going to leave you with this question to chew on. Think back to the last big project you were a part of. Now that you know all this, was that project truly led, or was it just managed? The answer to that question can tell you an awful lot about why it either succeeded or struggled.